Yep.
But how are you able to demonstrate results in such a quick manner? Because I know that I've had my experience and it's easier being a student on the inside. But how do
Mhm.
you explain to people that have maybe not had that firsthand experience?
Okay, yeah.
How
I
is it
think that's
so different?
yeah. I think it boils down to the teaching method, not just the art itself. I think firstly, the art itself already has those things built into it. But which means to say it's very condensed. So
Hmm.
whatever you do, yeah, can work out to be highly effective. But also the teaching principles, you see. Now, why I say that is because I've been a lifelong practitioner of the internal arts. I started when I was 11.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 69 this year. Okay. And I hope I can push back the years. But anyway, yeah.
You
But
already are. I'm telling you, from my opinion, you
yeah.
already are.
Okay. And after about 30 years or 40 years, right, of practice, I managed to acquire the skills that you see in some of the old masters.
Mm.
Uh, Certainly not at the top level of performance, but I'm certainly above average, right? And I can do the things like you see some of these Qigong masters do.
Mm.
But then came the time, and before that, I was not interested in teaching. I was more interested in improving myself.
Mm.
But so when I started teaching, I asked myself, say, hey, is it going to take my students 40 years to get to where I am? And that's when it sort of motivated me to find a quicker and better way of passing on the knowledge, you see. And I'm an IT guy, right? So the best way to put it is I hacked myself, all right? So I hacked my body. I tried to figure out what made things work, you see.
Mm.
And I translated that 40 years of knowledge into a teaching program, which I
Mm.
call the Roadmap to Learning Internals,
Which you've
and
been,
made it, yeah, yeah.
which is, sorry, I just, because this is another thing that was quite common
Okay,
for us.
yeah, maybe we lead on to that. Okay.
Yeah.
So the roadmap made the whole process of learning very systematic and
Mm.
concise, and everything, in a very systematic manner so that you then build one on top of the other. So this is a far cry from the traditional method which I learned,
Mm.
which was, you can say, not very systematic. The old way was don't ask too many questions,
Yeah.
just practice.
Yeah.
And that's how I was taught.
Mm.
When I had a questions, I say, hey, how do you do this? What do I if I feel this, is it correct? The master will say, don't worry about that, keep practicing. And the other interesting comment was, you will know when you get it. Right?
It,
And for those people who've been practicing Tai Chi and other internal arts, they will be familiar with these comments.
yeah. So much, so much. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I've wondered about myself is
Mm,
I find your approach in regards to sharing information
mm,
very generous. Let's if we take the roadmap, for example,
yeah.
and
Hmm.
and anybody in the world can go onto the internet and you've
Yeah.
you've mapped out the
Yeah.
system essentially. What
Yeah.
what drives you to want to put so much information out there for people?
Well, I think, you see, for me, I gained this knowledge, and to me, it's a legacy. You know,
Hmm.
it's a legacy I inherited from my grandmaster, my father. And I owe this to this heritage of the arts, you see, the art of Yan Shou Gong, as well as the deeper Shaolin internal arts. And I think it's my responsibility to hand this over to the next generation, right?
Hmm.
And I have observed with my own eyes because I was fortunate to start learning at a very young age. So my peers are easily 20 years or 30 years my senior.
Yeah.
And as the years go on, I see more and more of my peers passing away because of old age, right?
Hmm.
And very little of the art has been passed on, you see. And I'm probably, I won't say I'm the last, okay? But if I don't pass this on, whatever knowledge that's been gained will be lost. And
Mm.
it's a shame because this knowledge has been gained over thousands of years, right? And
Yeah.
it's evolved to this point. Of course, having the knowledge and having the skill is quite different. You may know a lot of theoretical knowledge. You can quote certain books by the paragraph or whatever, but you
Yeah.
must have a skill, you see? And the skill comes from practice. So, so the purpose of doing all this is so that I can make the whole system compact and in a manner that I can then pass on the knowledge and the skills that I have.
Mm.
Because if I don't, the art will just go extinct, you see?